If you're talking trucks, you're talking Lewisburg Ford. With over 100 new F-150s on the lot, Lewisburg Ford is your truck headquarters. Right now, get up to $13,500 off MSRP on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT or 2.9% financing. Lewisburg Ford has been awarded the 2025 Ford President's Award. They are the #1 F-150 dealer in KC 9 years running, so you know they'll treat you right. Lewisburg Ford and LewisburgFord.com.
We're back after a little bit of a hiatus here. We're back here on Between Two Fountains. I'm Mick Shaffer, and hold on a second. To reveal my co-host, I've got something planned here, Greg.
Ooh.
Got a gift.
For me?
Open this up. It's Greg Gurley. It's Greg Gurley, everybody. That is my co-host for this week's edition of Between Two Fountains.
So I'm in the NBA. I look fit. I look amazing on that video game cover. What did you think of the dramatic announcement by Tyran Stokes last night on Inside the NBA?
I think I'm telling you about it. Happy he went to KU. I mean, I get older now. I'm like, I don't know. What are we doing with these announcements? So good for him. 18-year-old kids that are the best at sports, right? And want to grab that spotlight and make the decision under it. It's fine with me, but I'm almost 50. I'm like, okay, can you just announce on Twitter or something like that, or at a gym with your friends and family? But great get for KU, a 6'7" guard, basically. I mean, or small forward. You can play anywhere. I saw him in the McDonald's All-American game. He when you watch the highlights or watch the game, you can't always tell a huge difference between someone who's 6'1" and 6'7", right? Because the camera angle, whatever. Right. He kind of played like a point guard, right? I mean, he's making full court passes after rebounds and stuff.
Yeah,
and then you see him down low shots, and you realize just how tall he is. I'm like, okay, there's a reason why this guy's the #1 player in the nation.
Well, first things first, I would say that don't hate the player because the NBA or whoever gave him the platform to promote himself. And he's able to, I'm assuming, make a lot of money from Panini and 2K. And if they're going to give you that opportunity, free opportunity on the most watched NBA show in the world, then do it. And so I think a lot of people will have a problem with the way he did it, but I don't. If I'm a 18-year-old kid and somebody says, hey, we're going to pay an extra.
I think Kentucky fans have a huge problem with the way he did it.
Oh, yeah. They have a huge problem.
And I will say, he chose a Kentucky KU fans to be like, what is he doing? Come on.
They have a huge problem with the result. They don't have,
Yes.
So,
again, that will bleed into how he did it. We don't want this guy anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was, fine with it. And the overriding theme of it is I didn't really care. I just wanted to know his answer. And I'm glad we got what we got. I mean, back to your point about watching him in those games, he's kind of like a point forward, which wasn't really a term when you and I were growing up, but he's kind of a point forward. I mean, what I was impressed with in the McDonald's game, and then I watched another one where it was Team USA versus the world. That was a great basketball game, way better than the McDonald's game because that's just like the NBA All-Star game. Alley-oops, let you go, windmills, whatever. But the Team USA versus the world, I think it was a really good game, and it went to overtime. Tyran fouled out, but in watching him, he seemed to be very unselfish. Like he would, he just kind of was the leader on that team, and he would get a rebound, and he would always be looking up court to make a pass, get somebody else involved. And then when he needed to score, he did. So I liked, in my very minimal time watching him, I really liked what I saw as far as his unselfishness, his ability just to make the easy play and then take over when he needed to, because he's got a body on him. I mean, he's a freak athlete off one foot.
And so what does that do for KU's roster next year, which needed some replenishing, right? They have not been crazy active in the portal. You have a good class coming in. It's now a great class coming in. How many more holes are there left to fill with, I assume, just the portal?
Well, I think if you look at our bigs right now, that would be the big question mark. We have 2 5-men that are, you look at Paul Mbia that's coming back, who was great late in the year, but obviously very raw and needs to take that next step. And I think we're all, we talk so much about, God, we'd love to develop guys and get them there for 2, 3, 4 years. Now we've got it. And now we've got to do it because Paul showed a lot of signs, a lot of positive signs in limited minutes. But in the NCAA tournament, he was great. And so if we can just take that next step with Paul, and then you look at Reeves, the 7'2" guy from College of Charleston, size. I mean, you got Paul and him, wingspan, rim protectors, alley-oops. Those are all the things that Bill loves to have in his bigs when you look at Doak and you look at all the other guys that he's had that, hey, get downhill, throw it up top, and have somebody to finish. And that's what we have. Now, we don't have, hey, are we going to really throw it into Cole or throw it into the Morrises and back to the basket post players? Not really. Now, Bill's the great adapter, and he'll figure it out. So I would say that's the one question mark for me. And then shooting. We got to have shooters. And Cole is another guy in the same conversation with Paul, decided to come back, which was great. You love Cole, athletic, great on the glass, energy, motor. And the one thing he lacked was what? And it was shooting. And he got a lot of open looks because when you play with the Darren Peterson or a Tyran Stokes, where the whole defense is geared to stop you, you're going to get open looks. And Cole's got to figure it out. I mean, he's got an opportunity to have a ton of open looks. And if he gets 7 a game, he's got to make 3. And last year he just didn't. So excited about those two coming back. Is there more work to be done in the portal? For sure. And now you got to really manage the cap because obviously Tyran Stokes is taking a large part of that. And it's a question of how much money do you have to spend? You don't know it. I'm pretty educated in this field, especially in our building, and I don't know it. And so anybody that says they know all the inner workings of how much we have to go get another 2 guard, another 3 guard, another big, they don't know. I mean, the numbers are so inflated that you can't believe anything you hear. They're in the ballpark. They're saying that like Flory and the guy from Oregon got $9 million from Louisville. I don't necessarily believe that number, but I believe it's close. So that's a massive couple of guys. So, and that's going on everywhere. So Kansas has to.
There's no 20. I mean, the $20.5 million cap is not a thing, right? It's not a thing, right? Because that's just from the school.
It sure doesn't seem like
it's supposed to be for all the sports. There's no way that's a thing.
Yeah, it sure doesn't seem like it. And especially when you back, in the football coaching carousel, okay, we're going to hire Matt Campbell at Penn State, and he got $30 million in your NIL budget. You're like, $30 million? Like you just said, 20.5 for everybody.
Everybody.
But now the reason that it can be higher is in the commercial NIL, which is you got your cap at 20.5, and then you have, guys going out and getting, like we saw in the NCAA tournament, like Dove Soap or what was Courtyard by Marriott or what were the boozers were doing, like T-Mobile. And so
they did the phones. Yeah.
That's where, you're talking about 1% of Division I athletes getting significant money above the rev share cap.
Yeah.
So,
but what it creates is, you bring up 2 bench players last year for KU that there's hope for them, and they wouldn't be at KU if they weren't good players, right? And a guy from College of Charleston. I think even the most ardent KU fans or college basketball fans probably didn't watch too much of is it the Cougars? College of Charleston?
I don't know.
Maybe. That's what comes to mind. Anyway, they're not watching much COC hoops, late at night. So another like, and then the high school guys come in, they're of course dripping with talent, but some of them take to it quickly, like the college game, like Peterson or Boozer or DeBonsa. Others are, great talents that maybe aren't going to be stars right away. So those question marks there. So just my point is, in this new world of the portal, I don't think it's as much pay for play, but it's more the portal. You got to get to know a brand new team next year, and then cross your fingers and hope that it gels and comes together, because they don't always. And we've seen
that. There's some luck involved. There really is. And, when you look at Reeves, you look at his career somewhat on a descend as opposed to an ascend. You go Duke, Clemson, College of Charleston, as opposed to the other way around where you go College of Charleston, Clemson, Duke.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's not going to be a great fit. That's just what all the pundits are saying right now is like, all right, obviously 7'2", massive get. But when you look at the career trajectory, sure. But that doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. That's just what people are saying. So we'll find out when he gets on campus, and size is something that you want to have. And I know you struggle with that, but other guys don't. Well, how tall are you?
Height or
so got to get some more.
How do you know that? How do you know I struggle with that?
I read it in it was like a bathroom, something, at the airport or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that too much information?
No, it makes sense now. It makes sense now.
Hey, nice watch. Yeah. Yeah. So we got to find a few more guys, shooters, and you probably want another veteran, because young guys, you got a lot of freshmen. It's a great class. And we saw it last year with like Bryson Tiller. None of us have patience. We expected Bryson just to be the guy right away, and it takes a while. And so when you have an incoming class, you have one super elite guy, which is Tyran Stokes, which will be the number 1 pick in the draft, or the 1, 2, or 3 in 27. And then you got to have those other guys, and how do they mature? How do they adapt? How do they adapt to Bill's coaching style? How just all these unknowns, and you got to get lucky.
Speaking of rolling the dice and crossing your fingers and guys who could pan out or not, the Chiefs had a draft this past weekend. Were you paying attention? Are you a big draft junkie?
I wasn't, because I was on vacation and was just kind of detoxing, and I saw who they picked. I saw we moved up like 3 spots, and kind of seemed like we gave up a lot to do that. Was
3 picks for one guy? Yes.
Was that like, was he gonna get picked?
So there were 2 teams in front of the Chiefs, the Commanders and the Saints, at like, was it 7 and 8, that were in desperate need of corner and could have very well taken Mansour Delane. And I think we found out, because there wasn't another corner taken for another 20-plus picks. We found out, okay, there was one clear-cut best cornerback in this draft. Now, will he come out and be an all-pro right away? That's what you cross your fingers about. But we did learn, and we don't know for sure if the Saints or the Commanders would have taken him, but we know for sure if you coveted a corner and you wanted the best one, that was the best one in the draft. And it was
that's
kind
good.
of like
that's good to hear.
Universal opinion.
That's good to hear, because that shows you how much I was paying attention. That shows you why I trust in Brett Veach, and you for that matter.
And
so
me. Yeah,
that's a great answer, and that shuts me up at least for a few seconds.
For a few seconds, but you did give up 2 other picks to get him, and they didn't. A lot of times they'll trade back in. They just didn't have the capital to get that 3rd-round pick back. That was the biggest deal, losing a 3rd-round pick. So Friday was kind of silent. They took 2 guys on Thursday, which is great to have 2 picks in the first round. Peter Woods out of Clemson. He's an amazing story, Greg. He was a 5-time letter winner in football in high school, meaning he played in the 8th grade for the varsity.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever get close? Did they ever bring you up as an 8th grader? Could you have played at Shawnee Mission South as an 8th grader?
No, because
did you play as a freshman?
A little bit, but that was so
that's not too far off.
So this was 8th grade was the first year of middle school in the Shawnee Mission District. Was my 8th grade year. So we were supposed to go to junior high, then they changed the whole system. So we were 8th grade, And then we were the second 4-year class at Shawnee Mission South, the second freshman.
Because it did start at sophomore year.
It used to be a 3-year school, yeah. And then, so I got moved up as a freshman, but played the majority of JV. It was such a, like nowadays, every school you look at starts a couple freshmen like right away on the varsity. But back then, it was like a big deal to get moved up. And then I would get like, you played like, I want to say it was 5 or 6 quarters. So if you played 3 in the JV game, you were available for 3 at varsity or something like that.
Yeah,
and so
you got 5 quarters. Yeah,
I'd get in at I probably scored, I don't know, 20 points as a freshman. That's why I'm not the all-time leading scorer at Shawnee Mission South, because I basically had to do it in 2 years.
In 3 years, yeah. Well, anyway, this guy, and you've seen it before. I've seen it in hoops and football, where guys played 8th grade. It takes a certain school district, right, to allow it. But it's usually for small schools or like a private school that it's got a small enrollment. And, hey, the middle school is inside the same building as the high school. This is a school in Alabama that played 7A football, right? 2,300 students, Thompson High School, right, in football hotbed of Alabama. And they felt the need to bring up an 8th grader to play not like running back or wide receiver or corner where you're crazy fast and we can just put you out there. No, a big boy position where you have to – size is like the biggest thing, and then strength as well.
What position?
He had all that in 8th grade and was able to play for a 7A. By the way, they won 3 state championships while he was playing in high school for 5 years. So anyway, my point is this guy's been a stud since like age 14.
Couple things. Younger people, you don't really see that name very often. Peter Woods, he sounds like an actor in like the 60s that, that name.
I remember
number one.
Growing up, Peter Weller and James Woods always looked the same to me. So I made the comment the other day on 810, like it's a combination of Peter Weller and James Woods.
Like
Peter Woods.
22-year-old named Peter Woods. That's take number one.
Sure.
What position was he?
Defensive tackle.
Oh my!
They say in football, it's harder. The closer you get to the football, the harder it is to play early, right? So interior offensive line, interior defensive line, quarterback. Like I said, the wideouts, the cornerbacks, you can play earlier there because it's more of a speed-based position. The others are more size-based when the closer you get to the actual football. And he was able to play that. He was the Alabama Player of the Year. Alabama
as an 8th grader
tackle.
Oh, so. Not as an 8th grader though.
No. As a senior, by the time we got to the senior.
Here's my
but he was a top 10 recruit out of high school. So he has been a blue chip 5-star all everything guy for a long time.
The other one that always gets me, I'm a kind of a name guy in my broadcasting. You see so many crazy names, and then you look at some of the Chiefs and you're like, are some of the guys mad they don't have cooler names like Alan Bailey or Chris Jones or Peter Woods? And then you have really cool names after that. Am I just weird?
Yeah, those are normal names. Those are regular names.
Very regular. Eric Berry. Like I don't,
Yeah.
It's a great name.
It's a little more spice to that one. Patrick Mahomes, that's a fun name though.
Right. No, there's a lot of them that are fun, but there's also a lot that are just kind of like they feel like it was my parents' accountant's name or something.
I have a deal like in baseball. I claim that I can tell you if a guy's a starter or a reliever based on his name, because the starters all have cool names. Clayton Kershaw, Tarek Skubal, Zach Greinke. And then all the relievers have those basic names like you just mentioned. John Schreiber, right? He pitches for the Royals.
Nick Mears. Yeah.
Mears.
That's not bad. Yeah. That's not a bad take. I get you.
So, like you go down that rabbit hole, kind of the cooler the name, Chris Bubich, of course he's going to start.
Ohtani?
Of course he's a starter.
Yeah.
Ohtani? Yes.
Yes.
So that's that.
Oral Hershiser.
He was never going to come out of the bullpen.
And then you got Bob Gibson.
There's some exceptions to the rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's certainly some exceptions to the rule, but yeah, that's it. So I digress. But Peter Woods was projected as the number 3 overall pick this time last year. Slid a little bit because he didn't have a great season at Clemson, but they kind of moved him there, so they got them. Then they got R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, who is a game wrecker, a little bit undersized, kind of a tweener guy at defensive end, but I really like that pick. And then they finally got some offensive guys late in the draft, and so. We'll see.
Okay. Hey, speaking of the draft and then our other professional team, since I was out of contact for a couple of weeks, the Royals, I did watch all that announcement when I was in wherever I was. And I think it's awesome. And I'm glad it finally happened. As a Kansas Cityan, it makes perfect sense. It should be downtown. Crown Center's great, and having a blank slate and just doing it, I'm pumped that in 5 years we are going to have 2 of the nicest stadiums in the world.
Yeah, basically the nicest stadiums are typically the newest ones, and that'll be in hopefully 5 years or maybe a little less. We'll see. But I'm excited too. I think it's going to be a cool venue. I think it's it's going to be downtown, which makes the most sense. You get more foot traffic, you get more fans, you bring a lot more personality and character to the ballpark and what's around it and all that stuff. It's kind of a destination. I think it's so cool that they're going to keep the church right there in the corner, Our Lady of Sorrows, which is a perfect name for a church to be right next to Royals Stadium. I'm curious what they're going to call it. I think Hallmark just basically, I'm
trying to figure that out
for the Royals. Call it Hallmark Stadium.
I'm trying to figure that out. What is their involvement?
They're like, here, take our building in our area and our land that we own. We'll build somewhere else, which I'm sure might be like baked into the cost of this whole thing. All right, we're going to throw another $10 million for you to build a facility somewhere else. What's that in the grand scheme of things if the price tag's $3 billion?
But the great thing about it is that they're a Kansas City company. They did this in a civic minded way. Yeah. I'm sure there's some financial benefit to them. I would imagine
nobody's losing the shirt off their back. No,
but if that is I don't know, let's just think of a new company like Paycom or somebody like a software company that has no Kansas City ties. They'd be like, no, you're not taking our,
Yeah.
So it was we're very lucky that we have a great company like Hallmark in our town that is willing to do this. And the Royals ownership group is primarily local. And they're all like, yes, this makes perfect sense. It's still a mystery on how it's going to work, but I don't really care how it works. I just want it to be, like you said, in 5 years. I mean, hopefully it's earlier, but that's when the lease runs out, right?
Yeah. I think the Chiefs will be there, hopefully by 2030. It'll be up. We'll see if by 2030 or 31, the Royals can be. They kind of took this thing the last minute and then some. But it's awesome. It's exciting. It's the coolest sports town I think in America, and it's just getting better and better. Can I bitch about something here, by the way?
Yes.
So we covered. I doubt you heard this, but I tweeted it out, and people had the same reaction to me. We were at the WNBA exhibition game Monday night. Can't believe you weren't there. At T-Mobile.
Okay.
Minnesota Lynx, they were in town to play the Nigerian national team, 2 of your favorite squads. Mm-hmm. Again, can't believe you weren't there. So we do a pregame little presser with the coach of Minnesota, Cheryl Reeve. Longtime coach.
You didn't grab the Nigerian coach?
No, but I think they were all like college players with like some Nigerian roots. It was kind of like the Olympics, right? Like, my mom or my grandma was from there. Some might have been from there, but a lot of them were like current college players. Anyway, so she's talking, and so obviously the question's about, hey, WNBA, is this a harbinger of things to come? Can it come to Kansas City? And she utters a soundbite, basically the tone of like, you know what? I love Kansas City. It's growing. It's not growing too fast, but it's growing at the right pace for it to maybe happen someday. And I really think it can be a professional sports town. she said those words it can be a professional sports town. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, you got the face of the NFL. You got a dynasty franchise right here in the NFL, the biggest league in the world. You have a baseball team that's also been here for 60 plus years at this point. You have Major League Soccer, NWSL. You have the goddamn World Cup coming here, Greg. The World Cup. It ain't going to Minnesota. By the way,
are you on camera during this interview? Like, is your face on the camera?
No, it's a presser. I'm back there. I'm saying like, what is she? And she said it again later on, like Kansas City's this little engine that could get a WNBA team. And no offense to WNBA, but it's not Major League Baseball. It's not the NFL. It's nowhere near that. And Kansas City has those teams. You're in Portland, for crying out loud, WNBA. So I don't think that was maybe what the league feels about Kansas City, but that's how she phrased it, and that pissed me off.
What's her background? Does she come from like a bigger city than Minneapolis, or?
No, but then she also made me mad. I think she college days used to coach in the Midwest, and they asked her like, any stories about Kansas City and your recruiting days? She's like, no, actually, as a matter of fact, I love recruiting Missouri. We got some of the best girls out of St. Louis. We got this girl out of St. Louis, this girl out of St. Louis. It was so much fun going to St. Louis. I'm like, I don't know if you know where you're at right now.
What's this coach's name?
Cheryl Reeve.
Cheryl Reeve?
I think it's Reeve, like Christopher Reeve. No S on the end. Yeah. So that just popped in my head. That made me mad because I would love a W franchise here. And I would love an NBA franchise. I would love any professional sports team here. And by the way, you have Patrick Mahomes as like a backer for it.
Well, you would love. I think it's a selfish thing for you because in the minute and a half that you get to do your sports segments, you need more content. Because if there's a 4% chance of rain, you get 45 seconds to report on the sports.
Been a lot of that this April. It's been a lot of that. A lot of shows have been banged, Greg. A lot of shows have been banged. Bang. Speaking of banged, before we get out of here, my Twitter got hacked yesterday.
Oh.
Big deal. Not a big deal for you with 40 followers. I got 40,000.
How many do I have?
And I'm officially like an old man because I know when it happened, I got a DM from an account I follow. They follow me. It said, hey, vote for me on this. And I clicked the link and I put some information in. And a few hours later, I was just some other overseas email had my account. And they were tweeting out about crypto and DMing people about crypto. And so bravo to Elon and Twitter. I'm sure he was on this case. We made an appeal. The station helped me out, like a ticket or whatever. I thought I would be mired in this for weeks. And I would never get my account back because that's how it works for a lot of people. Got my account back 5 hours later. It was awesome.
Hey, by the way, Dick, 2,420 followers. I don't know if you can see that. So not 40.
I got that in the first week in 2009.
I've sent 7 tweets in my life.
That's a pretty good average of tweet per follower there.
So maybe we'll put it up on for all of our listeners. At Gurley Greg, please follow me, and I won't ever send anything out.
GIRLY.
Is that right?
GRAIG is how you spell those names.
GG. One last thing. I think you and I were texting last night. How about this Texas Tech quarterback deal?
Buddy.
Oof.
Buddy. Yeah. I mean, listen. The NCAA still has a couple rules in place, and that might be the number one of them.
And it sounds like it was thousands of bets, and people are giving him credit for checking himself into rehab, but like it's easier to check into rehab when you get caught,
Yeah, and how much of that is performance art, mea culpa, and just a plea, an olive branch to the NCAA saying, "Look, I'm trying to get help. Please, only give me a 3-game suspension or something like that."
And they're pointing to 2022 when he was at Indiana, but he went into rehab in 2026, meaning.
Oh, he's been doing it since. Yeah.
Correct. And so I don't know. Would this be as big a story if this was the backup quarterback at Northwestern, because remember back when
because he did it at 22 when he was like the third string quarterback in Indiana, who wasn't a thing. Obviously, he wasn't a thing.
Now the big scary part for a couple of people right now, in addition to Sorsby, is they're saying that Cincinnati knew about it, which who knows if that's true. I can never tell when I get on Twitter or whatever what's real, what's fake.
Yeah,
you don't know. But
no, I saw somebody had tweeted out. It got me. I am getting old. It said it was like this long paragraph written by Sorsby, like saying,
I saw that too.
At the end, it's like, I'm so sorry to my friends, my family, and there's Castellanos with the drive to right.
I saw that. It was great. I read the whole thing too, and I was like, and then I read it again. I'm like, wait a minute. God, I fell for this. I'm like my mom. My mom calls
me too. I'm getting fooled on Twitter.
My mom calls me all the time that like somebody in my, ecosystem died. Like it's like oh, Dad, did you see that so-and-so died? I was like, Mom, what did you see it on Facebook? It's not accurate. I was just with them.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Back in the day, I think there would be some lenience for fans or whatever of like, okay, when these guys weren't getting paid and you've got an athlete that's trying to scrape things together and right, he's got all means. He's trying to, make ends meet, get a meal, and he's doing something like that. Or you can maybe understand it. This guy's making $5 million a year, whatever. And
he got $5 million to go to Texas, and he got however many.
You know what? No, one strike, you're out there, buddy. I mean, it's an obvious thing. I guarantee you, the compliance people at all three schools you've been to hammer that home, saying, "Don't do it." And by the way, don't do it under your own name. And he just does it brazenly and gets caught. So if his career's over, I'm fine with that.
And he might be an NFL
for 5 or 6 years. He can maybe make some money professionally in football, but that's a big screw up.
Well,
I don't care if you only bet on your own team. You still have inside information, and that's there's some integrity left in sports, I think.
And the thing about it with Texas Tech is the transfer portal window is over. There used to be one later in the spring.
Gone.
So this is done. There's no like you're just like, here's giving the ball to your second stringer who supposedly he had ACL surgery, and they said he might be ready by week 3.
Yes.
Which and that's a maybe. So
and they were basically a quarterback away from being the best team in the country last year. They had a good one, but they had a Mendoza level or kind of just maybe a step below that defense was so good. They could have won it all.
And to their credit, they went out, they have the money, they went out and got the hot guy, which was Sorsby, paid him $5 million or whatever they paid him. And now it's biting them in the ass. And there's nothing they could, I guess they could have done a deep dive into him and hired.
Yeah.
And that might be a thing now when schools go out and pay a bunch of money for someone, there might be a Senate Judiciary Committee investigation on paying some, like they're going to look at everything. And I would think number one would be gambling.
Yeah, I think so as well. All right, Greg, congratulations on choosing, congratulations on me choosing you to be the podcast co-host here.
Is that Devin Booker?
That is a Suns player. So yeah, it looks like Devin Booker.
Okay.
Like take my sunglasses off. I don't know. Yeah, you walk into a indoor place with them on, you keep them on. That's one thing. You're in the place and then you put the sunglasses on. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. But but whatever. It's going to make everybody that's not a Kansas fan hate him.
100%.
Which it's going to be the Hunter Dickinson treatment. It's going to be like, why would he do that? Why can't he just sign his letter and show up? Well, he probably made a little bit extra money last night. So, hey, more power to him. I love it. You need elite guys nowadays, and we've got one. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. All right, we're back. We'll be back next week, as far as you know. Sorry, not sorry on that. See you next time on Between Two Fountains.